The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Program Management Methodology and PgMP Certification Overview. Our guest speaker today is Nivarthi Jayaram. He is the Platform Delivery Manager at ANZ Bank at Operations and Technology. Nivarthi is a PgMP PMP ITIL Certified Program Manager with over 26 years of work experience, including more than 13 years in program and project management, IT infrastructure management, SDLC, benefits realization, service delivery, and business development operations of a wide variety of IT-related tasks. Nivarthi has expertise in interfacing between management, clients and team personnel, preparation of client deliverables, ability to cultivate productive relationships with key decision makers, committed to excellent service and customer satisfaction. Nivarthi has delivered end-to-end programs, projects spanning establishing VoIP network, data center setup, migration, consolidation, delivering BPM solutions, hardware lifecycle refresh, virtualization, etc. So, without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Nivarthi.
Thanks, Aradhana, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. So today we're going to talk about program management methodology and PgMP certification overview. So the webinar I've divided into two sections. The first one would cover the program management methodology or the framework, which is being advocated by PMI through their standard for program management, which is currently in the 3rd edition. And second section would be covering PgMP certification overview and the process. So PgMP is Program Management Professional Certification, which is for aspiring program managers or even the program managers who are currently in the profession as well. So let's start. So the agenda for today is we will discuss what is a program, the difference between project, program, and portfolio. We will also talk about program management domains and program lifecycle. Then go ahead into second section, that is the PgMP application overview, the experience requirements, how the process flow happens for PgMP application to reach to the examination point. And in the final session, we'll take a question and answers if any. So what is a program? A group of related projects and sub-programs and program activities managed in a coordinated way to obtain benefits for the organization, which otherwise would not be possible for the organization to be achieving where if the projects would have been managed individually. So it's a collection of relative projects. If the projects are not related and are only managed under a certain funding, they would rather fall into a portfolio than a program. So the key for establishing a program is to have projects which are related to each other and are contributing to a desired benefit of the organization. So all projects within the program are related through a common goal, often of strategic importance to the sponsoring organization. So generally I've seen people asking about what is the difference between a project, a program, and a portfolio. So basically projects give us a desired deliverable, whereas programs provide much more than just a deliverable. Programs concentrate more on benefits realization for the organization, and portfolios are something which are either segmented based on the funding or based on the common deliverables or benefits the programs would provide. So here we see the difference between various projects in terms of scope, change, planning, monitoring, and success. So projects, they are progressively elaborated throughout the life cycle and have defined objectives, whereas programs have larger scope and provide more significant benefits for the organization. And portfolios would have organizational scope changes with strategic objectives. The change in projects, we expect changes and implement processes to keep change managed and controlled. If the projects are pretty big, we would have changes coming in from externally as well. Whereas programs, changes may come in both from inside or outside the program, even it may come from portfolio. So why we are saying this is basically in a program, it is the portfolio which primarily decides what components would come into the program, and sometimes if there is a strategic shift in the organizational vision or objective, a portfolio can come in and ask a program to stop executing a particular component. So when we say component, it's actually a project. So we generally call all the components as projects under a program. In portfolio, we continuously monitor the changes quite broadly. That is, we monitor even the organizational changes, organizational strategies, and how business is defining them for the particular portfolio. In terms of planning, projects progressively elaborate high-level plans which are defined at a program level into detailed plans. So program plan generally has high-level component plans and how the program integrates these component plans to get desired benefits for the organization. Monitoring, so at project level we monitor and control project works or tasks that are undertaken and provide deliverables for the program. So under program we monitor component progress, and we also look at any risks from projects which are coming up and that could impact the whole program, not just the project. So as a program manager, you have a wider scope, a wider vision, and we also need to be carefully monitoring project risks as well if they could impact the whole program. Success, so project success is measured by product and project quality and timelines, and also the budget compliance, the three constraints that we talk for projects, which we call as triple constraints. And programs success is generally measured by the benefits that it helps for the organization to realize. So programs delivery is not just about providing a deliverable. What actually organization wants to achieve in terms of benefit is what is important. So as a program manager, we need to understand what benefits we are providing and have to monitor continuously throughout the program to see that we are realizing those benefits for the organization. So at a high level, these are the differences between a project, program, and a portfolio. So now we would talk about the program domains as advocated by PMI in their standard for program management version 3. So there are basically 5 domains which are defined. At the center lies the program lifecycle, so through which you would manage a whole program end to end. And we have strategy alignment as one domain, benefits management as another, and stakeholder engagement and program governance. So these are the 5 domains which essentially should help any program manager into achieving what we set out as per the program mandate for the organization. So let's first talk about strategy alignment. So what is strategy alignment? So every program that is being executed in an organization needs to align itself to the organizational strategy through the interface provided by a portfolio. So ideally, each program, when we are defining a program, we would provide a program business case which justifies the need for program to be executed and also states how it would align with the organizational strategy or help the organization in its achieving its vision. So a business case can be either at a very low level or it can be a detailed one as well. Now, who would prepare this business case? So it is again customized for each organization. Ideally, we say the program manager should be coming in right at the program definition phase, so he understands the vision of the organization and how the program actually is contributing for the organization's strategy achievement. So it's the program manager who is ideally supposed to be preparing a business case. And also as part of strategy alignment, we would have a program plan, not a program management plan. It's a program plan which would primarily contain the program vision, the program's mission statement, the goals, and the objectives. So these would be defining how the program actually helps in aligning itself to the organizational strategy. So the program vision should somehow match to the organizational vision or should be contributing to the organizational vision statement. And the program mission statement describes the purpose of the program and reason why it exists. It also describes the philosophy and values by which the program will be executed and the environment in which the program operates. Then the goals and objectives of the program. So the goals should be clearly defined so the success can be measured. If the goals are ambiguous, you can never measure whether a program is successful or not. Now come the program benefits. Benefits would be managed as part of benefits management. So there is a benefits life cycle that we can talk about, which again interfaces throughout the program life cycle. So as part of benefits life cycle, we have different processes which are defined as benefits identification, benefits analysis and planning, benefits delivery, benefits transition, and benefits sustainment. So when we say benefits identification, as a program, what benefits you are going to contribute to the organization. So we need to identify those benefits. Then list them out, and benefits as part of benefits analysis and planning. We define and prioritize various components and define benefits metrics if possible. So in most of the cases, we should try and define the metrics, so which will again help in understanding or monitoring or even validating the success criteria. Establish a benefits realization plan. Means at what different phases of a program, what benefits you will be realizing. So why we say this again is in some programs, it may be that the benefits can be realized only at the end of the program. But in certain programs, benefits can be realized phase-wise as certain components of the program are being executed and provide the project deliverables to the program. So you might have 4 or 5 projects under a program. When those projects complete, you could achieve certain level of benefits, or in certain cases you may not achieve any benefits till all the component projects in the program are completed. So benefits realization plan necessarily states at what phase of program you are going to achieve those benefits which you have identified. And it also helps in mapping the benefits into a program management plan. So the benefits management plan and the program management plan would be interfacing with each other. So next part of benefits management life cycle is benefits delivery. So where we monitor the components, that is various projects that are being executed as part of the program, and we also maintain a benefits register to understand at what stage these benefits would be realized and monitor them, and report benefits to the program governance board as well as different stakeholders as and when they are achieved. Benefits transition. Now, in many organizations, programs generally don't interface into operations, but in certain organizations they do. So how do you transition these benefits into operations and then look to sustain those benefits as part of routine operations of the organization? So that's where the benefits transition plan comes in. It consolidates the coordinated benefits and how it transfers. It states how the benefits would be transitioned to operations. And benefits sustainment plan. So as part of your ongoing operations of the organization, you should be able to monitor the performance of benefits, whether you are continuously realizing those benefits which you have realized as part of initial program lifecycle execution. So that's basically about benefits management. So next comes the stakeholder management or stakeholder engagement. So this is a very, very important aspect of even project management or any management for the matter. So it's a major contributor to the success of a program or a project. Identifying the stakeholders, major stakeholders primarily who could impact your program in a positive or negative way, is very key to the success of the program. So as part of stakeholder engagement, the processes that are underlying would be stakeholder identification, stakeholder engagement, planning, and the actual engagement itself. At a high level, whenever a program is defined, you would already have a major stakeholders or the important stakeholders in project program sponsor or the governance board or the portfolio manager. You would also have the program managers. If it's a big program under which there are sub-programs that are running. So majority of the stakeholders would be defined right at the program definition stage itself. So what you would need to identify would be the stakeholders who would be impacted either positively or negatively by the program. And then how they can influence the program, the level of influence they would have, which would help you in creating a stakeholder engagement plan as to what their expectations are, how open they are to accept the change that you are going to bring in as part of the program, their attitude towards the program, okay, and also the attitude of the sponsors towards the program, stakeholders' expectation of the program benefits delivery, and the degree of support or opposition to the program benefits from the stakeholders. So as part of engagement planning, we majorly look at even the negative stakeholders as well. It is very easy to go with a vision that, okay, we are going to ignore the negative stakeholders, but that would lead to a major impact to a program. It may result in a program failure as well. So the key to success of a program from a program manager perspective is to look for opportunities or methods or any alternatives on how you could convert these negative stakeholders into positive stakeholders. So whether it is through proper communication or even through understanding of their negative influences, having discussions with them and convert them to positive stakeholders. So as part of engagement plan, we even decide or arrive at the various levels of communication, detail of communication for the stakeholders. And then we actually engage ourselves with the stakeholder. And it is a continuous program activity right from the beginning of a program life cycle to the end of program life cycle. Next comes program governance. So as part of program governance, we would have a program governance board who would normally be monitoring the program progress and are responsible to authorize various components under the program, provide necessary funding to the program at various levels through monitoring, through advising the program sponsor on the progress of the program. And as part of program governance, program manager himself would be monitoring how the projects are executed or the components are executed under the program. Also have a governance meetings internally for the program team to monitor various risks, issues, and how the projects are using the funding that is being provided to them, or if any risks that are coming in from projects can impact the program, or even if need an escalation to a governance board. So all these aspects are practically looked into as part of governance. Now, how these domains or where these domains exist across a program life cycle? If you ask that question, all these 4 domains exist across program life cycle. So throughout the program life cycle, we would continuously look for confirming that the program still is in line with the strategy of the organization through strategy alignment processes. We continuously monitor and validate that the program is able to deliver the benefits that are expected to be realized by the organization through this program. We engage with the stakeholders throughout the program life cycle and provide a governance to the program throughout the life cycle. So those are the program domains and how they interface with each other. So let's now look at a program life cycle and see what all things form part of a program life cycle. So there are 3 aspects to program life cycle. So the first one is program definition. So which would have program formulation and program preparation. So when we say program formulation, so what does that mean? So the initial business case preparation, getting an approval for the program charter, and securing program funding so that we can start the program, initiating studies or estimates of scope at a high level, the resources at a high level, and the cost, and also prepare an initial risk assessment for the program, as well as create a program roadmap. So these all form part of the formulation process of a program definition. Then program preparation. So here we would be actually defining a governance structure for the program and initiate the program organization or create an organization chart and define the hierarchy for the program and start developing a program management plan. The next process is benefits delivery. So as part of program benefits delivery in the life cycle, what you do is we plan various components that would come into the program and plan for those components and authorize those components. So as part of component authorization, again the project managers or the component managers would prepare individual project business cases which would be authorized by a program manager or even the governance board in some cases, depending on how the organization is structured, and provide an oversight and integration of different components into program. Transition and closure. So transition and closure in benefits delivery is not program transition, it is the component transition and component closure. So each project as it reaches completion needs to transition itself into operations and then close out completely. So as part of program closure, we define a transition plan for the program in itself and go about a controlled administrative closure of the program. So that's basically about program life cycle. So this completes the first section of the webinar, wherein we talked about what a program is, what's the difference between a project and a program and a portfolio, and the various program domains and a program life cycle. So let's now get into the second section of the webinar, which we will talk about program management professional certification that is being devised by PMI. So here we will talk about the various sections as part of the certification requirements. Now the application overview, you can apply online on pmi.org. You would need to have personal and contact information, education, and your organizational information. And if you are already a PMP, you have the option to select different PDU cycles. If you are not, you don't need to bother about this. And then you will have to provide a program and project experience in terms of program overview as well as the organizational details for which you have actually delivered that program. Then you will be presenting the hours that you have spent on different aspects of your program management by domain and the various projects that you have executed under your program, and experience summary statements you will have to provide. The experience and education requirements are similar to what it would be mostly in project management. But the main aspect here that we need to consider is that the program and project experience must be unique and non-overlapping. So you cannot say that, okay, I was doing a program at this time and also a project at this time. That would be an overlap. So your program management experience and the project management experience should not overlap when you are presenting it to PMI for PgMP certification. Now what you would look or how you would calculate your experience. So for your program management experience, you should include details on at least 2 projects associated with the program, because we would say not just one project. If it is executed, that will be a big project, it will not be a program. A primary contact is needed for each of your projects and a program, because if your application is selected for an audit, you will have to provide a validation from those contacts. If you are a recent PMP and now you are doing a PgMP, you will need to re-enter your PM experience as well. It is not that PMI would look at your PMP application and take it for your PgMP. No, you will have to re-enter whatever you have entered as a PM experience, as a project manager experience, even for PgMP. For your program management experience, you can go as back as 15 years. That means the maximum experience summary you can provide for PgMP certification would be something which you have done in last 15 years. You cannot go beyond that. The main point here again is having PMP is not mandatory to apply for PgMP. So many people have a notion that, okay, we would first need to do PMP and only then we can go for PgMP. No, if you are a program manager, if you are part of a program and you are already having an experience of a program manager, you can directly go for PgMP rather than going for PMP and then progressing for PgMP. So as part of verifying your experience, you should provide the program number if you have, for the then program title, your start and completion date, and your role, whether you are a contributor for the program, you are the program manager, you are the supervisor, whatever it is. Name of the contact who would validate. That can be your direct reportee or a program sponsor or a contractor if you are working for a as a contractor or a consultant. It can be your peer as well. And you will have to provide email and phone number of the contact. So here one suggestion or best practice would be to provide personal email and phone number. So it's possible that you provide a office email and that person changes the organization while you are working on PgMP, because the process is little longer. Now the key for your application to be accepted by PMI for PgMP is the experience summary. So as part of your experience summary, you will have 5 questions that you will need to answer on various domains. So you would have an option to answer the questions. So that you will have 2 options. You can select either of the options and provide an answer for that particular question. So the restriction here or limitation here is it would be a maximum of 350 words for each of the answer. So you will have to concisely put in and justify what you have done for that particular domain. So you will have different domains: strategy management, benefits realization. So for example, if you see in the second question on benefits realization, how you have defined and monitored benefits realization measurement criteria for the organization, or you have an option identified opportunities that result in optimized program benefits. So how you went beyond what was required as part of the program and optimize benefits for the program. Here, as part of your experience summary, primarily PMI is not looking for your process understanding. It's about what you have actually done in your career as a program manager. So they would look for facts and figures rather than processes to be put in as answers. So these are 5 domains and you would have different answers that you will need to provide, like stakeholder engagement, how you have identified and analyzed program stakeholders, their influence on the program and what you did, or develop clear expectations and program acceptance criteria with the program stakeholders. So we'll need to provide clear examples of what you have done in this particular domain. Then comes governance, established and adapted a program governance model, or you have identified and evaluated risks and their impact on the program objectives throughout the program. So you can, here primarily if you are talking about the second question, you might, list out the risks which were escalated to you by some component project as per your escalation model, and how you identified that particular risk to be impacting the whole program rather than just the project, and what you did as your mitigation plan for that particular risk. So you will have to list out 3 to 4 risks that you have identified and you have evaluated them, which were either escalated through project and how they could impact the whole program. Then program life cycle, how you have managed and optimized the use of resources, whether it's human resources, materials, or your facilities, or even the funding across component projects, or managed and resolved program level issues escalated from the component projects. So the earlier one was about risks. Here we are talking about issues. Defining or answering these 5 questions is the key to acceptance of your application. So it's not like your PMP. If there are PMPs on this webinar, if for general public, if you are looking to do PMP, you would normally provide your experience summary first, and then it would go through an audit if it is selected, and PMI accepts, and then you pay the fee. This being a high-level certification, PgMP, as soon as you submit your initial application itself, you will have to pay the fee, and then your experience summary will be reviewed. So as part of your application process, once you submit your application along with your experience summary, more or less what we have seen till now is that almost every application is selected for audit because the applications are not that high. We still only have 1,000 PgMPs in the whole world and about 53, 54 in India. So you can understand it's very small group as compared to any other certification. So for audit, you will need to submit copies of your highest degree or diploma, and also signatures on you of your contacts that you have provided as your contacts in your program overview. Then after you clear the audit, your application will be going through a panel review. So PMI has a group of program managers selected as panelists. So each of your experience summaries that you have put in would go to different program managers, a group of 5, and they would review your PgMP application and decide whether you are eligible to actually appear for PgMP. So the review will be based on responses you have provided. There will not be any identity as to whose application it is that will be revealed to the panelists. Panelists will only get your response, not even your application number or your PMI ID, nothing. They won't get anything. Now what happens if you fail? The panel review itself is that a part of your fee that you have paid to PMI would be taken out, and you will have to wait 1 year to apply again. So generally PMI would suggest you to have a review of an application and make amendments, and if they feel at certain point of time that okay, you are not eligible at this stage to appear for PgMP, they will ask you to withdraw your application. So it's very important. Experience summary plays a key role in your application going through. And after you clear the panel review, you can schedule your exam like any other examination online based on the availability. So the timeline for a PgMP, your application preparation would normally take 4 weeks. So you would work on your experience summary, different questions, and prepare a list of contacts, communicate with them that in case your application lines up into audit, you're going to have a signature that they will need to provide you with, which mostly is happening for every application. So that's what we look at 4 weeks to prepare for applying for PgMP. Then once you start the application process, you will have about a 90-day window to complete your application. Once your application is complete, PMI will take about a week to review the completeness of your application. Mind you, this is not panel review, this is just a PMI application examination team that reviews your application to see it is complete, you have everything that is required. Then it will give you a confirmation that you can pay the fee. So once you pay the fee, you can be rest assured that you would get audit. So your application would land in audit. So you will have about 4 to 6 weeks for your audit to be completed. So you will get the documents that PMI would need signatures on. It would basically be the program overview that you would have provided, for which you will have to take a printout and get your contact's signature validating your program management experience, and put them in a sealed envelope and courier back to PMI. PMI doesn't accept any emails or scanned documents. You need to take a physical printout of the document and send it for audit purposes. So along with the experience validation, you will also need to provide your educational proof, that is your graduation or diploma certificate. So once you complete your audit, you would land up with panel review. We normally say 2 weeks, but based on the time when you are actually applying, for example, if you are applying during Christmas time, you can be rest assured it might take even 4 to 6 weeks, because there would be a huge rush of people looking to apply for different certifications. So the timing generally takes 2 weeks, which we are looking at a best case scenario. And from the time you have your panel review cleared, you would actually have 1 year to apply or schedule your examination. So within that 1 year, you can look to clear your exam. And the PDU cycle, again in 3 years, you would need to accumulate 60 PDUs for yourself. PDUs are professional development units that PMI looks to have everyone gather so that there is a continuous improvement in the knowledge of each PMI certified, whether it's a PMP or PGMP or risk management professional. So what materials generally we suggest for preparation for PGMP would be the standard for program management, which ideally is by PMI, which is in the current 3rd edition right now. We also have certain boot camps that are being conducted at various locations, as well as online boot camps that are happening, which you would go through. Since this being a very high-level certification, forming a study group of like-minded people is also advised. You can even join LinkedIn groups wherein you have a lot of PGMPs clarifying various questions and doubts on program management concepts. So these are various materials that you can look at for clearing your PGMP certification exam. Also, apart from that, you can look for any question samples which are provided by Dr. Ginger or even Dharam Singh, or even there are few contacts that you can look at. So what is the value add for a PGMP? So I've seen this question from many people as to what is the ROI or return on investment from this certification. So the return on investment would be that your advanced experience that you have and the skill that you possess as a program manager is recognized, and this is a certification that is globally recognized and it is now demanded. It again demonstrates your competency to execute programs end to end, and it gives different organizations a confidence of your success in executing different programs. And it also helps you to have a good understanding of the PMI methodology or the framework, and you can contribute within your organization with your clear concepts to drive various related projects in an organization into a program and provide those additional benefits for the organization, driving programs rather than taking up individual projects. And lastly, I would like to specify again that it is not necessary for anyone to have a PMP to take PgMP. If you have the essential experience and expertise and knowledge as a program manager or as a program contributor, you can go for PgMP directly rather than just going for PMP. So that's about it from my side. If there are any questions, we can take up.
Thanks for the insightful presentation, Nivarthi. Let's quickly take up the questions now, as you have just reiterated. I request you to read out the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to your insights. So are you able to see the questions in the questions panel of yours?
Yes. So I can see one question from Krishna Kumar. Okay, the question is about program impacts multiple departments and priorities of each department varies. How do we achieve all departments aligned with program priorities? So this ideally comes into stakeholder management. When you say each department has their own priorities, if as a program manager, if you are able to make them understand what benefits you are going to drive for that particular particular department and how this particular program can help the department in achieving that particular department's vision. Now when you say a vision, every organization vision would go down or deep down into each department portfolio. So if you can make them understand the priority of this program to be delivered and what it would contribute to their department in terms of benefit, or if a certain department is not actually directly benefited, but if you can make them understand how it would benefit the organization as a whole and why it is being prioritized at an organization level, I think you can take care of this particular issue. Now the second question we have is from Piyush Garg. He's talking about stakeholder engagement role. Is it solely or most of it is for commercial reasons and not actually product oblique program? So I believe he is talking about the stakeholder engagement, whether it is for commercial reasons and not actually for the product or program. So the answer would be an yes and no. See, when you are a program manager, you have a bigger visibility, you have a bigger role to play for the organization. So it definitely will be for the product and program because it is what you are ultimately worried about or looking to provide for the organization. So your program success is very important to you. So stakeholder engagement may not just be restricted for the program only. It can still be for commercial reasons. It all depends on what benefits you are trying to drive from the program. So I think that answers that particular question. So you cannot say that it is not for the program. It definitely has to be for the program, and in addition to it, it may be for other reasons as well. The next question we have is, can we correlate a program as verticals like BFSI, pharma, etc.? This question, I think, okay, let me, how to relate this question, that's what I'm thinking. Can we correlate a program as verticals like BFSI and pharma? So are you saying probably that in an organization whether we can have programs segmented towards BFSI and pharma? If that is the question, I think yes, we can do. Then BFSI would be a portfolio for that particular organization. Probably this question relates to something in the service industry where we have different program verticals concentrating on certain sectors, industrial sectors like BFSI and pharma, as well as we can talk about manufacturing. So different industry sectors. So in those scenarios, yes, we can correlate programs into different verticals. Next question we have, worldwide, what are the statistics for program management so far? So if this question is for program management professional certified people, so worldwide we have close to 1,000 plus as of last week, and in India we have close to 50 plus. So that's the current statistics that we have for program management professional certification people. The last question that I see here is, do we have contact hours in PgMP count for PgMP certification? So if you are talking about those 35 hours, no, there are no 35 contact hours required for PgMP. So there are no mandatory contact hours. So the boot camps generally that we suggest people to attend is primarily to have your knowledge aligned to what PgMP or what PMI wants, but not for your PDUs. So there are no contact hours that are required for PgMP. The next question that I have here is, I manage multiple projects. Can this be classified as programs? Now, if you say that multiple projects, my question would be, are they related in any way? If they are related, they should be already part of a program. So you are contributing to the program, but you may not actually be aware of it. So probably you will need to check whether these multiple projects are contributing towards a program, and if they are not and they are still related, probably this is the best case scenario where you can tell your organization to drive them as a program rather than individual projects and get extended benefits of driving them as a program. So you will need to look into whether they are related, and if they are related, are they contributing to your program? If not, can you drive them as a program? So you can take it up as an organizational initiative from your side. Okay, total cost of PgMP. So at this stage, if you are a member of PMI, it's about $850. If not, it's $1,000. Does 60 PDUs sufficient if I am having PMP and PgMP, or shall I have 120 PDUs? No, you just need 60 PDUs. That's where I said in the first slide, if you are a PMP and you are going for PgMP, you can actually decide the life cycle of your PDUs, whether your PgMP life cycle would match with PMP or it is the other way around. So overall, you just need to get 60 PDUs for your both certifications, and even renewal wise, if you renew PgMP, PMP automatically gets renewed, so you don't need to renew that separately. So those are the questions I have. I don't see any more questions, Aradhana. So we have one last question coming up from Mohan. Managed 8 projects for the same client which are similar in nature but did not have strategy or benefits planning or governance. Can we consider this as program management experience? Now, yes, you can, because it was not defined, but if you can define the relativity amongst those projects and present them as a program, you can do that. So if you are able to integrate how these projects contributed as a program or as provided the benefits consolidatedly, some organizations still might have not moved into program structures. They might still be driving projects independently. So that's where our experience as program managers and having certification would actually help in these organizations to drive or consider driving related projects in under a program. So yes, you can do that. One more question I have, I think it can be the last one. We just have around 3 minutes here. As everyone is moving to Agile, do we still see the benefit of PMP certification? So if you're talking about PMP certification, I think PMI has already come up with ACP certification, if you are aware. It is a PMI ACP, Agile Certified Project Manager. So if you are looking to go for Agile, you can specifically you can get into Agile. But PMP, if you are a PMP, I think you can still drive an Agile project. I don't see any conflict there. Agile is a kind of specialization which you can look at. We do also have specialized risk management certification or schedule management certification. Even for requirements management, PMS has come up with a business analyst certification as well. That has come in recently. So those are specializations. PMP and PgMP are general certifications. So if you have a PMP or a PgMP, you are expected or you should have the capability to drive any project, not specifically a particular sector. That's what we are trying to achieve by generalizing the project management framework or program management framework. So I think that's all the questions I have, and I'd like to thank again TechGig for giving this opportunity and hand it back to Aradhana.
Yes, and I'm really thankful to our guest speaker for conducting this wonderful webinar today. If you would like to sum up the session for today, I think you can do it now. Any
Sure.
last word that you would like to say before we close the session for today?
Yes, so the main idea of presenting this webinar was to share information about PGMP, which I've seen and personally experienced that to get information about this certification had been a challenge earlier. So I just wanted people to be aware of what it takes to be a PGMP and have the expectation or look amongst themselves to understand if they are eligible to go through. So I am quite open as a PGMP to help whoever wants to progress this path, and you have my contact information, and you can approach me either through email or through my mobile number. So I'll be happy to help. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Nivathi, for taking the time out and having us. Have a great evening ahead.
Thank you.